Welcome guys, welcome to today's live stream. Hope you're all doing really well. If you're watching live, then of course you're very welcome to leave any comments and questions that you have throughout today's live stream. If you're watching it later on through something like YouTube, then obviously leave some comments down below and I'll check them out after the fact. But yeah, welcome to today's live stream. Haven't done one of these in a little while, so it's nice to be back in the zone doing this. I thought we'd do what I'm calling a drummer's study. We're going to look at one of my favourite players, which is a guy called Jose Pasillas, who plays in a huge alternative rock band from America called Incubus. They've been a favourite band of mine for a really long time, and I thought it'd just be really nice to check out some of his signature and iconic drum beats and fill-ins and share them with you today. So yeah, if you are following along, then there is a PDF to go with this live stream, which can be downloaded in the comments section or the description. So make sure that you have that open because I'm going to be relating a lot of what I'm showing you today to the PDF so you can actually keep in time with me and understand how I'm teaching this to you. Other than that, feel free to give the page a like and give it a share. That always helps and sort of encourages me to do more of this kind of thing. Right, let's get the lesson going. So we're going to be checking out, I think, 6 or 7 tracks from Incubus, which feature a varied amount of grooves and fills from Jose Pasillas. And we're going to start with one of the most famous tracks by Incubus called Pardon Me, which is from the album Make Yourself. And this is the verse groove, which has a really cool like rock and drum and bass thing going on. So you can see that across a 4-bar phrase at the very top of the PDF. And this roughly hits at about 30 seconds into the track. You know, he kind of does variations on this groove. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break it down really slowly for you and then speed it up, all right? So let's have a little listen to it as is. Now that's roughly where it sits in the track tempo-wise. And you can hear that drum and bass thing going on. There's a lot of displacement, there's a lot of like stuttering by stopping and starting, but it's definitely got a really good feel and works very well within the context of the track. So I'll play it a bit slower for you now, just so you can like understand it at the slower pace, and just watch out for that ghost note at the end, which make sure you want to play that nice and low just to create some feel. Okay, this time I'm going to go a little bit faster each time I do the loop. So every 4 bars, I'll just like knock up the tempo a little bit. So there you go, there's the first groove I wanted to work on. That is, of course, from Pardon Me, which is a fantastic track. Yep, awesome. All right, so we're going to move on now. But of course, if you've got any questions about that beat, then just reach out. All right, the next track that we're going to check out is the track called Are You In, which is from the album that followed the one we just worked on called Morning View. And this is hands down one of my favourite records. I cannot get enough of this album. I think I listen to it at least once a week, if not more. And this is a really striking fill-in. It happens at roughly 34 seconds into the track. There's like a really nice ambient build-up to this track. And then what Jose does is he does this really nice sextuplet fill-in down and up the kit to then bring the groove and everything else back in. So the groove, the instruments all hit on the one to create this really nice feel. So here's the fill-in. I'm actually going to play it at pace first, but the best thing to know about this one is if you're on a 3 tom-tom setup like I am, then obviously you can go down the kit, linger on the floor tom a little bit and then work your way up. But I believe Jose, he has like a couple of like smaller tom-toms over here. He's got 2 up and he's got 2 down. So he may roll this all the way down his kit and then all the way up again. But I thought I'd stick it just on a fairly traditional kit, which is 2 up, 1 down. And it still works incredibly well. So you definitely need to know the sticking for this one, which is right, right, left. And we're playing them like sextuplets, so you end up with right, right, left, right, right, left, right, right, left, right, right, left. So I'll hit it at pace first. Okay, and that last snare drum, I believe, is hitting on the and of 4. So what I'll do this time is I'll show you it with a crash instead. Okay, so I thought I'd also click you guys in to just help you see where it's falling. So I'm going to play it slowly, but it's pretty self-explanatory. I'd say that the trickiest bit is coming back up the kit because the right, right, left is between 2 different drums. So if we're on the floor tom, we'd be going 3, 3, 2, 2, 2, 1. So it's just kind of split in a little bit of a strange way. But let's try it a bit slower. And also, just to heighten things, when I go at speed in a moment, I'm going to do the crash and go into the groove a little bit just so you can see how that sounds. Okay, so hopefully that gives you a really nice idea of what's happening for the intro of that song. Of course, the song is Are You In from Morning View. Okay, let's move on to the third track we're going to study today. So this is off the same album, off Morning View, and it's near the end of the album, and the track's called Under My Umbrella. And it happens at roughly 2 minutes 26. It's kind of acting as like the bridge section of this song. And what Jose's doing is he's doing this like really nice tribal pattern. It still uses common components of the kit, so we've got our snare, bass drum, we hit the ride of the bell, but he's filling all the gaps with these really nice tom-tom hits which create a tribal feel. The track ain't very quick, it's just 1, 2, 3, 4. It's quite a slow song really, but when he gets to this bit he really fills in a lot of the space with the tom-tom. So let's check it out. I'm going to go at pace first and just loop it a whole bunch of times. It is a 4-bar phrase, so you'll notice at the end of the 4th bar that there is like a crash foot crash thing going on. So let's check it out. Okay, so it's quite an involved groove, so we'll break it down a little bit. First of all, to make life easy, the right hand is simply going from the bell to the floor tom. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So that has quite an easy job. The bass drum is filling in a few gaps every so often, but one of the weird things about it, the way I can sort of interpret it by listening to the record, is that it sounds like he sort of descends down 2 and 3, and then on the next part he'll sometimes descend up to 1. So you end up with this fairly like muddled melody, which works really, really well. Let me slow it down again. So hopefully you can see what's happening there, and you're getting like a really nice melody. It's really tribal and it works really, really well at that part of the track. Other than that, it's largely a 16th note fill, 1 E and a, 2 E and a, but on beat 2, he sort of slips it back by a 30-second note, so you get da 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 da. It creates almost like a little bit of a Herta feel. Let's hear it again once, a bit quicker. Okay, cool. Hopefully you guys enjoy that one. Okay, we're going to move on to the fourth song that I wanted to share with you today. We're going back to Make Yourself, and with this track, it's called Nowhere Fast, which I believe is track number 2 off of Make Yourself. And a little bit like where we started today with Pardon Me, what we're going to do is we're going to check out this kind of rock fused with drum and bass feel, okay? And this happens on the verse, which is about 38 seconds into the track, I believe. I was checking it out on Spotify earlier. So, yep, in the PDF you'll see it says Nowhere Fast, and this is about 38 seconds. So, what's happening here then? We've got a 4-bar phrase, which is sort of about this pace. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and it's quite quick. It's quite a quick little groove. And it's really, really displaced as well. So even if you just like detach yourself from the band Incubus, this groove is really good for like funk studies. And the faster you can get it, you're going to get yourself into like some drum and bass territory. So you tell you what, I'm going to play this one at speed first, just so you can get a feel of it. Then I'll break it down. Really what makes it what it is the displaced nature of the snare drum and also the ghost notes. Let's check it out. So yeah, you can hear it's like all over the place with the groove, but in a good way. It's really heavily displaced, and particularly when you get to the end, he's doing so many ghost notes to just keep the groove trickling along, but sounding quite frantic at the same time. So I'm going to break it down slowly for you now. Let's check it out. So tons of subbeats are notes that fall between the hi-hats, and of course the hi-hats are just doing eighth notes here. So lots of subbeats to watch out for. The dynamics are pretty brutal, so you want to make sure that you got really big snare hits when they're needed and ghost notes where they are needed. And then you end up with like a lot of single strokes as well, so there's not really like any crazy rudiments happening here other than singles, particularly at the end. So that bit's relatively straightforward if you can get the feel and the dynamics happening. Alright, so I'm going to play it once again fast and then we'll move on. Okay guys, obviously one thing to watch out for there, because it happened to me just then, is just watch you don't get your sticks caught up with one another as you're doing the roll. So hopefully you guys are digging that. So it's had a comment from Gary that says, is that a really squeaky pedal? You have to tell me where you're hearing it, buddy. Yeah, I can't hear any squeaks, but if so, better get the WD-40 out on that. Yeah, okay, let's move on then. So I've got 3 more tracks I want to share with you guys today. We're going to check out one of Incubus's more softer tracks. It is off the album called Morning View, and the track is called Echo, which is somewhere in the middle of the album. And I think Jose uses what are called hot rods for this track, which is basically the go-between between a brush and a drumstick. It's lots of little like thin wooden sticks all clumped together, and you get this kind of like mid-ground. So I'm not going to use my hot rods today. I'm just going to do it using drumsticks. But the cool thing about this one is, other than just being 16th notes just all the way through, which is fairly easy, all single stroke driven, what the drummer does is he puts his right hand on the ride, left hand on the hi-hat, and he's just going between them like that. So it's like a really nice feel. You get this like motion happening because of it. It's just pushing the groove forward in a really, really nice way. So let's check it out first. I'm going to go at pace. So yeah, it has this really cool feel to it, and there is some displacement happening as well, so do watch out for that. But by and large, the right hand gets to come down to the snare. There's only one moment where the left hand comes down, where you end up with this like this kind of sound. But other than that, all is good. Gary, you might be referring to when I click my mic on and off. If you hear the squeak, you just hear like a little click as I turn my mic on and off, so don't worry about that. Hopefully all is well with the rest of the audio. So okay, like I said, the track's called Echo, just pure 16th note feel, just right, left, nothing too complicated going on here, but it is actually a really nice song to play to, and it does require quite a soft touch as well, which is why I think Jose uses the hot rods as he tracked this one and when he does it live. So let's hear it slow. Here we go. So it's definitely a cool feel, and that's happening on most of the choruses on the track Echo. I think the first time it comes in is 1 minute 10, so go and check that one out. Once more fast and then we'll move on. Okay, I've got 2 more grooves for you today. And if you just joined us, we are studying Jose Pasillas from Incubus. And the track we're going to look at next is from the following album, from A Crow Left of the Murder. And the track is called Megalomaniac, which is the first track on this record. This is a big track. It's a fan favorite. It sounds huge when it's live. Yeah, what a cool song this is. And we're going to be checking out the verse. Now the verse comes in all the way at 1 minute 17 because there's such a long build up to this track. Probably the done thing on the first song of this record. It's nice to build it up. So the track's called Megalomaniac, and this is, let's just count all the bars here, this is an 8-bar phrase. If you just join, make sure to download the PDF, which is in the description, and you can make sense of everything that I'm saying to you today. So an 8-bar phrase, it's roughly at this tempo, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the bars do unfold quite quickly, but other than that, it's largely a similar groove once you get the initial bits down. Now the only bit that makes it a little bit tricky, in my opinion, is he does like this little 4-stroke rough where you go da-da-da, da-da-da. And he does that between the hi-hats or tom 1. So I'll just show you what that would sound like. And the way I like to play that 4-stroke roll there is to go right, right, left, right. I just feel like I can do it quicker. Some of you out there might want to go right, left, and the stronger beat falls on your left hand. That's, I guess, the only risk versus going right, left, right. So anyway, I'll play it for you first, and then we can dissect it a bit further. So yeah, you can see there's like some consistencies happening. One of the nice things as well is how it starts, which is this floor tom, bass drum and hi-hat choke thing going on. That's if you're looking just for a little bit extra power from your groove. Okay. So other bits to work on then is finding tom 2 randomly in the pattern. He sort of does this. Which is pretty cool. It really works in the verse section. And other than that, there's not really much else to say. It's like, it's fairly easy to read. It's just what happens on the end of the first bar with that condensed half a sextuplet, you know, the 4-stroke rough. So I'm going to play it slowly for you and then build it up again. All right, hope you guys dig that one. Megalomaniac, that's the track. And I'm hearing a lot of Stuart Copeland influence in that one. In fact, across the whole track, especially when you get to the breakdown of that tune, there's a lot of Stuart Copeland and Police stuff going on. So I think if you were to check out Jose and then check out who he admires, you'd probably see someone like Stuart Copeland on the list. You might also see someone like Neil Peart on the list, and some other fantastic alternative rock players. Anyway, we are at the final groove that I wanted to show you today, and it's a song called Anna Molly from the album Light Grenades, and we're checking out the main like kind of intro groove where Jose is just riding on the crash all the time. It's happening at about 25 seconds into the song, because again there's like a interesting build up to this track as well. So we're going for the heavy bit, and it's a fairly easy groove to play until you get to the end, and if you're not used to doing your quad motions like this, if that is a motion that you don't have down yet, then of course the ending is possibly going to be the trickiest bit. But let's go in at the tempo needed. So from the groove perspective, it's fairly easy to play. It's just bass, bass, snare, bass, bass, snare. Fairly easy groove. By the time you get to the third bar, bass, bass, snare, bass, bass, snare. All very, very easy. And of course, when you get to the fourth bar, which is on the first time repeat, it's just snare, bass, snare, bass, snare, bass, snare. So that bit ain't too hard to play. Not the nastiest 4-bar phrase in the world. But of course, when you do the cycle, so you do the first 3 bars again, and then you jump down to the second time bar where the fill-in is happening, that's the bit to work on. But yeah, what more can I say about that? It's just the sum of its parts. It's the like energy that Jose brings to the track. You know, you need to give this like quite a lot of ferocious rock energy to make it sit how it needs to. So I'm going to play it once more at speed, and then we'll move on. Okay guys, so there is a couple of iconic and signature tracks or grooves from Jose Pasillas of Incubus. He's been a hero of mine for a very, very long time, and he still continues to inspire me this day. My setup is definitely based upon like the way that he plays and the sounds that he creates. So I'd really, really encourage you to go and check out the band. One of the cool things about Incubus from a drumming perspective is not only is he a very creative alternative rock drummer, but I really like his use of cymbals. Because I don't know, like, forgive me for saying this, but like most rock drummers will probably think kick snare and tom-toms and just crashes to get the most energy for that particular moment in a song. But what I like about Jose is that he uses like the splash cymbals quite a lot. He uses his china quite a bit to like accent certain things. He's just incredibly creative, and particularly on the albums Make Yourself, Morning View and A Crow Left of the Murder, they are sort of the the best moments where those elements shine through in his playing. Anyway, I really hope you guys enjoyed that live stream. It's nice to get back on it again. I'm sure I'll follow up with some more live streams very, very soon. If you do enjoy this kind of thing, then please remember to hit like and subscribe and give it a share. Don't forget to download the PDF if you want to re-watch this and learn some of the grooves again. And there is also a PayPal donation link as well. So if you enjoyed this, consider donating to me, which would be really, really cool of you guys. Anyway, I think that's it pretty much. Like I said, go and follow me. The social media links will be either in the description of this live stream or on YouTube. And yeah, I hope everyone is staying safe. Also, of course, have a cool Christmas if you're watching this live, because Christmas is just round the corner as well. Anyway, I will see you guys all very, very soon. Thank you very much.